As-salamu alaykum everyone, Inshallah you're doing well today. Jazakallah khair to everyone who has subscribed and liked and commented. Your comments are like warming my heart. Y'all are so generous with your comments. So Alhamdulillah for our ummah. Today I was thinking about talking about how Islam has really changed the way I conceive of myself, both as a woman and as a wife. We read some of the ayahs in the Qur'an about women and men being created to complement each other and not compete against each other. Like we're made differently for a reason. And in the West, that sort of idea is not promoted. In fact, it's like the antithesis of what is promoted in the West. In the West, it's promoted that we should compete against each other. Men should not even be part of our lives, or they shouldn't even exist. And I think what that sort of ideology does is it tries to replace men with the state. And that's just unfortunate and terrible, actually. So, as I delve more into the Quran, I'm able to understand that this is actually against our nature, that sort of mindset, and how we are created in pairs, and that this is the way it's supposed to be. And I was really competitive growing up, and I realized that this is not sort of my innate nature. This is sort of promoted in the West. And you know, I really wanted to go to university, and I really wanted to go to grad school, and there's nothing wrong with that, obviously. But when it takes away from the other parts of our lives, like for me, I think about how going to university and grad school, I mean, I was in school for 9 years, guys. So when I put so much focus on my academia, like on my studies, and less attention, I gave less attention to my relationship with my husband, you know, I really put my marriage at risk. Alhamdulillah, my husband and I, we just happened to book the same overland safari trip. He was living in California, obviously I'm from Canada, and we met in Nairobi, and we spent 12 weeks on the back of an overland safari truck. There's a big open air truck, camping and living in East and South Africa. Alhamdulillah. We have pictures of that trip on our Instagram, Mr. and Mrs. Forza. I'll link the description I'll put our handle in the description box, and if you want to see any of those Africa pictures, please check them out. But yeah, it's sort of interesting to think about how I actually put more attention and more focus on my academia than I did in my marriage. And you know, Alhamdulillah for my husband, he's always been very patient. But not all men are like that. And sometimes I get emotional about situations, especially when I was in school, because I put so much emphasis, like I had to get A's, I had to write the best paper, clubs and scholarships and all that kind of stuff. And he was very patient with me, alhamdulillah, but it took away from our marriage 100%. I realized that now. And he's able to see things from all these different perspectives. And sometimes I get emotional and I'm not able to see any side other than my own. And so, alhamdulillah for him, and I can see how, you know, when you read about in the Quran where it says like we are created in pairs to complement each other. Richard and I are like super complementary to one another, alhamdulillah. And I'm really leaning into this my feminine side now. When I got into NYU, I like shaved my hair off, and now it's like to my waist. I wore, you know, just kind of like masculine clothes, and unfortunately, and now I'm wearing like dresses and skirts, and I feel so much more feminine, and it just feels nicer and feels like this is how it's supposed to be, alhamdulillah. And yeah, I'm learning how to cook. If you watched my video, my first Christmas as a Muslim, you might remember that I said my mom was working really hard for my brother and I So she never really taught me how to cook. She didn't have the opportunity. She was working 3 jobs. So now I'm learning how to cook, and I have a favorite channel called Demetra's Dishes. I can link her information, her YouTube page down in the description box. Yeah, and Richard's liking my cooking, so that makes me feel good. And her recipes are super easy. So, you know, as somebody who's like really not good in the kitchen, or at least hasn't spent enough time in the kitchen, yeah, that feels really good. So, Alhamdulillah, I think that. Oh, here's a Palestine flag. Look at this, guys. Alhamdulillah. See, Naples knows what's up. Alhamdulillah. Inshallah, when we learn new information and we delve further into the Quran, we can really start to see how, well, inshallah, our behaviors start to change. You know, somebody commented that I say inshallah and alhamdulillah too much. I'm filled with gratitude, not only for our ummah, but because I get to be Muslim, guys. Not everybody gets this, and so I really do feel grateful. When we gain new knowledge and really start to embody that knowledge, that our behaviors start to change, inshallah. That's sort of the point of learning things, right? You can learn something, but if you don't really embody it, then what's the point? So, alhamdulillah. Also, yeah, okay, so our community here on YouTube is almost at 5K, guys. Alhamdulillah. And inshallah, when we do hit 5K, I will be doing a 5K giveaway. It's going to be a live, so I'm still trying to work it out because obviously I'm not a techie. I can barely get my camera to work for these videos. But I'm working on it. So, alhamdulillah for you guys. Jazakallah khair to everyone for your ongoing support and your patience with me. Alhamdulillah. Yeah, I'm just in awe of our ummah. Please keep Palestine and the Yemeni and the Syrians and the Uyghurs and the Rohingya and the Sudanese in your du'as. And inshallah, our ummah gets justice in this world as well. You guys are all in my du'as, and you guys are incredible, and I am very, very grateful for you. So I will say goodbye, and inshallah I will see you in the next video. Ciao, guys.